Hey, this movie is bad, but in a good way. Sorta. Look, I like schlock, okay? I'm not afraid to admit it. So Doom is right up my alley. Kinda. What's that mean for this video? Well, this rewrite is gonna go a little differently. Normally I just dive straight into a new story, but I think this one is close enough to what I'd write that we can maintain it. Mostly. Let's flip the script a little here. First, we'll do an overview of the movie so you understand where I'm coming from. Then we'll do an overview of what changes can be made to make this film better. Sound good? Great. Oh, and for you game fans, I haven't played any except the first few levels of the original years ago. Nevertheless, I have done my research. To my understanding, the series seems to be less about plot and more about power fantasy, so I don't actually think this movie is too unfaithful. However, I could be wrong, so leave an explanation down below if I am. For now though, let's watch this movie.
In the year 2026.
2026? No, you silly goose, it's only 2024. Got it! So, humanity discovered a portal under Nevada in 2026 that goes to Mars. Now we've used that portal to do science hijinks on Mars. But uh-oh, looks like evil is afoot. Spooky. No worries, we're sending in the Marines, oorah! The Rock is here, and so is Karl Urban. Their codenames are Sarge and Reaper, but those are dumb, so I'll call them The Rock and Karl. None of the other Marines matter, so I'm not naming them. Anyway, our team heads through floating goo to get to Mars. They meet this guy in a wheelchair who is...
a surprise tool that can help us later.
Ladies, we're under a level 5 quarantine, so I am just gonna have to strip search you girls.
I don't think so.
Hold that thought. We're under a level 5 quarantine, so I am just gonna have to strip.
Yikes!
Was that supposed to be funny? Karl meets his twin sister, Sam, who is one of the doctors on the Mars installation. Look, I know it's confusing that these guys got here and everything seems fine. The part of the facility that was attacked is separate and locked down. So the layout is like bad section here, safe section and portal to Nevada base here. And Malcolm in the middle here. So we learned that Karl and Sam's parents died at a dig site on Mars when they were kids. We also learned from Sam that her and her team discovered skeletons from a humanoid race that have a 24th chromosome. Huh? I don't think that'd be a good thing, but hey, who am I to question Doom?
You don't look like a Mac. Katsuhiko Kumanosuke Takahashi. So, Mac.
This is what passed for comedy back then, huh?
Yeah.
Lovely. The boys find ya boy from the intro.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yikes. I bet he really wants to Van Gogh home.
You need to leave!
Anyway, Ear Boy runs away while nobody's looking. Slippery little guy. These two knuckleheads have a random, unnecessary encounter with a naked lady, who turns out to be a naked demon lady that they light up. Sewer level. Hey, I know this guy is supposed to be the rookie of the squad and thus young and impressionable, but in this movie, Karl definitely has a baby face. Imagine him without facial hair. Look!
It's just a baby!
Anyway, back to...
Oh my god, what is that?
Whatever it is, it's dead, and so is this guy, whose codename, ironically, was Goat. Sam does an autopsy, discovering that the thing... No, not that thing. This thing. Has human organs? What? Also, look at this man.
Yikes!
Look!
Yikes!
And look what they make Sam say 10 seconds after.
You know, Duke, I bet secretly you have a big heart. She's a cool girl. Cool girl is hot. Cool girl is game. Cool girl is fun.
Oh hey, Goat's back. And he's dead again. Meanwhile, The Rock spends a good 30 seconds thirsting over a gun.
Nice.
This creep gets attacked by a monster who they trap inside a phase-shifting door. And being the intellectual juggernaut you are, you're probably wondering, what's the benefit of a phase-shifting door as opposed to a normal one? Well, this absolute mad lad gets into a cage match with a demon. Hey, a front flip? Hey, yo! He's really going sicko mode out here.
Oh my god, he on X Games mode. So long, nigga.
Ooh. Remember this guy? This other creep sneaks off to the bathroom, only to get got.
Yoink. Good riddance.
Our team takes the portal back from Mars to underground in Nevada. We learn that the door monster is actually Van Gogh from earlier in the beginning of the movie. Oh. Turns out the eggheads in this facility experimented on dudes by using the 24th chromosome they found in the Martian skellies. Sam hypothesizes that the chromosome does one of two things to people. Either makes them Captain America, or turns them into a Sloppy Joe monster. Apparently, which way you end up depends on whether you're genetically predisposed to be good or evil?
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
Anyway, this means that some of the humans who are still alive won't be infected. Or at least won't turn evil if they are infected. The Rock doesn't care though, and wants to kill everyone anyway, just to be sure. But uh-oh, insubordination.
Shut up!
I need soldiers. I don't need anybody else but soldiers.
I need a soldier, and he's scared to stand up for me.
The guy in the wheelchair doesn't agree either though. Uh-oh.
Oh, there's something behind me, isn't there?
Time to get the heck out of here. Oh hey, the hologram wall. That'll save. Carl is bleeding out, so Sam injects him with extra chromosome juice.
Wow.
Carl then passes out and wakes up in a first-person shooter game. Oh, like Doom. In this mode, the monsters are suddenly super incompetent and slow, which is convenient. Except the wheelchair guy, who's back and better than ever, baby. Guess he was evil too, what a loser. And a dead one at that. Carl searches through the facility until, oh hey, it's The Rock. Uh-oh, he's infected.
Let's get ready to rumble!
The two have a final fight using cartoon physics. Hey gang, do you think Carl will A. run away, B. pump fake, C. restrain The Rock's arm, or D. do a cool flip? Eventually, Carl tosses The Rock through the goo portal before tossing in a complimentary grenade. Then Carl takes his sister up the elevator back to Nevada. And that's the movie. Kinda like a copycat of Aliens, but not nearly as good. Still, I kinda like Doom. The action is fun, the gore is ooey gooey. That first-person action scene, while goofy, was memorable enough that I pretty much had it memorized, despite seeing it years ago. One mini change I'll say before we get to the big ones is that I think we should have had more of those throughout this. Small snippets could have whet our appetites before we got the long one.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I think the writers made this cast an unlikable bunch to contrast them against Carl and show them as likely evil subjects ripe for infection, but that is a very, very generous assessment in pretty much everyone's case except this pervert's. If that is the case though, the writers should have made it more explicit to the audience that these guys skew towards the dark side, while giving them some form of likability. Maybe make them flippant about killing and death, but fiercely loyal to one another and The Rock. Or have them be overly aggressive and violent, but protective of the rookie and Carl's sister. Anything but what we got, please, thank you, next. Speaking of, I like The Rock as a villain since I'm used to him playing heroes. Although there's not really much difference between his performance here versus his performance anywhere else. I can't speak on this film's faithfulness to the game, so let's sidestep that quagmire and jump right into what I'd change. Starting with number 1, remove the sexist stuff. This one's easy. I don't think it's up for debate. It's not funny or clever or endearing, it's just annoying and gross. Cut all of this. I am fine if this stuff exists to be called out and portray a character as gross, but if it's not explicitly called out, then why even bother? Number 2. So Carl is called a good person by his sister, who hasn't seen him in 10 years. And he's posed as the ideological opposite of The Rock, who is a meanie poopy head. But that doesn't work because we don't really see Carl do anything good. He's mad when The Rock commits murder, but that's about it. We need to see Carl being good even when it hurts. Maybe he goes back for someone who's probably dead, defying The Rock's orders. Maybe we get flashbacks to Carl sparing enemy combatants. Maybe he takes great pains to stand up for and protect the rookie, despite both acts impeding his own survival. Something to show instead of tell, so that we can get more from this otherwise blank slate. And I know, he's technically the Doom guy, who is the blankest of slates. But this is peak cinema, not a vidya game. So we're gonna have to do things a little differently. And speaking of a cinema exclusive, number 3, genetic predetermination. So, as stated in this movie, this gene juice makes good people great and bad people worse. But it's not based on how you act, it's based on your genetics, which say whether you're inherently good or evil. Is there a word for that? Eugene? Eucalyptus? Guess not. Huh. Yeah, instead of catering to the worst crowd of all time, let's just have the serum be random. Doesn't matter if you're good, bad, sexy, sweaty, it's just random. And since it's random, we can... Number 4, reverse the climax. That's a little technique I do all the time. Heyo! Huh? How about instead of the final battle being Monster Rock versus Captain Carl America, we get Captain Rock America versus Monster Carl. Success! By flipping how these two are affected by the formula, we not only subvert expectations, we add a layer to the final battle. Because now Carl has to fight the Rock and the monster within himself. It's a battle on 2 fronts, which Carl ultimately wins at the cost of his sanity. This would mean The Rock has to take the serum at some point, which can be easily done. Just have him demand it from Sam. And it would also affect the conclusion of this cinematic masterpiece. I'm of 2 minds on how this would end. Or rather, inside me are 2 wolves. One thinks it'd be thematic for Carl to sacrifice himself so Sam can escape, as a way of penance for turning his back on his sister and being in the squad to begin with. The other thinks it'd be cool to have Sam put Carl in stasis, as a way of stalling the transformation, with her vowing to cure him. If the franchise was ever revisited, he could return as the Doomslayer, explaining his specialness as coming from his semi-monster state. Or he could just be a monster the Doomslayer fights. Either or. Point is, this change and the rest would smooth out some of the kinks this movie had to ultimately improve it. Because we've got the action mostly down, and the side characters aren't especially important for a popcorn project like this. So really, we just need to fix the foundation in order to build something that elevates Doom from schlock to better schlock.
Nice.
That's all for this one. Like and subscribe, because I've got more rewrites, fixes, and essays in the works. And speaking of, for my next rewrite...
Bet you 50 years.
Until then, though, cheers.